I told y'all that the SAG AFTRA Mafia and the Genshin VAs would literally start to try to separate themselves from the SAG AFTRA strike because they know that this Wildcat strike is illegal if SAG AFTRA is involved. But listen to this. Let's get into it. This is where it gets crazy. So this started out with Sean Chiplock saying, just getting this out of the way so folks can share when people inevitably start asking, no, the SAG AFTRA strike ending does not mean that the Genshin strike is also over. Genshin is a non-union and SAG's contracts have no say in it. That's weird because, SAG AFTRA's leadership sure had a lot to say in it about those DMs and also sending Erica Harlacher threatening letters for, not agreeing with the strike and not going along with the Wildcat strike. So let's get into it. Now they're trying to say that the Genshin strike is not a Wildcat strike at all. Here, the legality under the 1935 National Labor Laws Act, federal courts have held that Wildcat strikes are illegal. Okay, and of course we got Sean Chiplock down here stating, it says at the very beginning of that same article that Wildcat strikes are unofficial actions by unionized workers without approval of union leadership. First of all, are those members of SAG AFTRA? Yes, they are. Okay, it doesn't mean that the game has to be union. A Wildcat strike is literally just what you refer to any kind of workers not participating in working, like refusing to work. A group of workers that are refusing to work. They don't have to be union workers. They don't have to be unionized workers. It doesn't have to be a union game. It's just the reason why it's called a Wildcat strike is because it's literally an action taken by the workers without union backing or union protection, meaning that they are not following labor laws. They're not following the United States labor laws, which also means that the company can fire them without the company union busting. Okay, it's a Wildcat strike. It is a Wildcat strike. It doesn't need to. There does not need to be an existing CBA. Where it becomes illegal is if the workers are holding a Wildcat strike while there is an existing CBA by their union, and their union should then punish the workers. But there's another clause in which it becomes illegal, folks, and that is whenever SAG AFTRA. That's whenever, if the union basically tells its members to hold a Wildcat strike on a company and does not back them. Okay, where the union influences a Wildcat strike on a company like Genshin, union or not, and does not back them. Okay, so let's just get this straight. If SAG AFTRA were to tell its members over at Genshin, over at a non-union game or union game, it doesn't matter, over at Genshin, to hold a Wildcat strike and then did not back them so that the company could fire them and SAG AFTRA would not be liable or would not protect them, okay? That would be illegal. If SAG AFTRA were to threaten its members to then hold that Wildcat strike and keep holding that Wildcat strike, well, that would also be illegal. So let's get into it. Genshin is non-union and the union is uninvolved to begin with. The union is uninvolved to begin with. I told y'all that they would be separating themselves. You know why? Because this is some serious shit. Those freaking DMs that Mugen exposed are way more serious than any of you know. And if Hoyo were to take legal action, they would more than likely win. However, it's still true that without union contract, there's no legal protection. Yes, and that's why it's called a Wildcat strike, because without a union contract, there's no legal protection, okay? Here he's requoting, Wildcat strike is a strike undertaken by unionized workers without union's leadership, authorization, support, or approval. This is sometimes termed as an unofficial industrial action. The legality of Wildcat strikes varies between countries and over time. Now, a lot of the members that are taking place in the quote-unquote collective work refusal are unionized workers, and it's at a non-unionized game like Hoyo, okay? But obviously, SAG AFTRA gives approval, support, or authorization, or even, threatens its members to take place in that strike without offering their protection. That's where it's illegal. That's where it breaks the United States labor laws. Okay, boys. But listen to this. We got Kayli Mills over here Kayli, the professional Mills, doing the same thing, literally trying to separate the freaking Wildcat strike over a Genshin from SAG AFTRA again. That's right, boys. Again, these people, I told you in the coming days what they would do because old Paperbag Boy found them out, boys. Old Paperbag Boy, this little guy right here, found them out. We found them motherfreakers out. Kecking's VA claims that many of the VAs are still refusing to return unless AI protections were added to their contracts. Here stating, you know that she publicly went after Jacob Kanish's VA during the SAG strike, calling his casting diabolical. Plus, the U.S.-based strike only applies to U.S.-based. Listen to this. Kayli Mills, Kayli the professional Mills. Genshin had nothing to do with the SAG strike. I never said I would only work if it went union. Here's the issue. Genshin had everything to do with the SAG strike, and SAG AFTRA was threatening its members with blacklist FICOR members who are legally not required to participate in it at all, threatening its members with blacklist if they did not, saying that they would never work union again, and also if they ever wanted to join the union, well then they better participate, otherwise they'll never be able to join the union in the future. We all saw those DMs. We all know exactly what's going on. As a matter of fact, I'll pull them up at the end of this video. In fact, I only ever asked if they would add AI protections into my non-union contract. First of all, the AI protections are already at Genshin and at the studio at Side Global, the US-based Genshin's US-based studio, okay? They refused, and so I said I could not work for them until they agreed. Many other actors are doing the same. Yeah, sure. Listen to this call out. Aren't the contracts done by the studio? Yes. Both her and Karina twisting the narrative. Indeed, they are. They're trying to separate this freaking Wildcat strike from SAG AFTRA hardcore. Do not let them trick you. You have to see through it. Every single time that they mention Genshin is not a part of SAG, that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to separate it because they know that Mugen's video connected them, and it connected them in a bad way, boys. A bad way. Yep, it's just another tactic to shift blame. Most studios already have AI protection contracts. Oh my goodness. Yep. In another post, someone commented that Deluxe VA is fine with voicing in ZZZ, but doesn't voice in Genshin. ZZ Studio has requested AI protections in contract. Genshin Studio doesn't. Okay. Listen to this though. All of these people that are refusing to work right now, that have not been at Hoyo in a long time, that have not voiced at Genshin in a long time, are still holding their sign events for their Genshin characters. That's right, boys. They are still making money at fan events where they are signing for Genshin characters that they are no longer even freaking voicing, that they are refusing to voice. Now let that sit with you. Let that sit with you. They are still freaking signing autographs, going to fan events for these characters, and then not refusing to voice them. You know why? Because they want the money, but they can't voice the character. Otherwise, SAG AFTRA Mafia over there will literally blacklist them, boys. That's why they have to participate in it. The fact that it's still going on after the strike ends is what baffles me. These are the DMs in question. SAG AFTRA negotiating committee member Zeke Alton admitted that they are actively working to flip Genshin into a union project. Let that sit with you, boys. There's a negotiating committee member, and not only him, also Kyle McCartley, at the union, threatening members of the union and also saying that they are actively working to flip Genshin into a union project. You know what you call that? You call that SAG AFTRA, literal negotiating committee members threatening its members with blacklist if they do not participate in a Wildcat strike that they are not protecting to flip a game to go union. It can be, here he says, it can be considered scabbing if the union is actively working to flip a game like Genshin. An actor working non-union would be in violation. If the non-union games turn out to be the ones that was previously union and the producer pulled a fast one, it can still be considered scabbing under the current strike order. Now listen to this. The union cannot prevent a company from hiring them in the future, but union developers have already been asking for a list of people not to hire. Of course, that's illegal and unrealistic, but it's a small community, meaning that they're all tight-knit and they all know each other's names. We're all responsible for our actions, and flaunting a strike is more serious than I think some performers understand. They will severely be limiting their career opportunities in the future to only the kind of games that are actively looking to gather up actors' digital identities, absolutely threatening them with a blacklist. And don't forget, then you got Sean Laraway literally saying, fine, you know what's wrong with Mugen's video? Number one, SAG isn't striking Hoyo. I told y'all, dude, they literally want to separate this as much as they possibly can. They are absolutely terrified of what Mugen exposed in that video, which was SAG leadership, not only just Zeke Alton, but multiple SAG leadership and the majority of its members basically threatening and calling other people scabs for not taking part in a wildcat strike. Do you know what you call that? The majority of SAG literally influencing and enforcing the wildcat strike over at Genshin, and that, people, could be illegal. Okay, could be. It absolutely is. But if they get found out, if it's found out that the leadership and their members were influencing the strike, that is where they will be breaking the law. I think that there should be a freaking investigation into this to figure out what's going on. That's what I think should happen. All right, boys, but that's it for me. You guys let me know down below what you think. Paper or plastic? Is SAG AFTRA, is the SAG AFTRA mafia? Paper or plastic? Let me know down below. I'm going with plastic. These motherfuckers are plastic as fuck. Plastic through and through. They're basically mannequins. Aliens come from Saturn, the size of Saturn, come to take over the entertainment industry and turn us all into little alien people. Okay, boys? All right, I love all of you. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, boys. GG's. Peace.